Marketing Management by Philip Kotler and Kevin Lane Keller. Have you ever stopped to wonder what transforms a brand, a product, or even just a simple idea into something absolutely unforgettable? Picture this. Two teenage girls stroll into a Starbucks. One orders a couple of peppermint lattes, casually paying with a birthday gift card. Meanwhile, her friend pulls out her laptop and, within seconds, she's connected to the wireless hotspot. She searches for that band she discovered last night, and instantly, ads for concert tickets and the movie soundtrack pop up on her screen. She clicks, and somewhere in the vast digital universe, a company called Google quietly makes a few cents. Her friend comes back to the table and starts showing off her brand new cell phone, a gorgeous ruby red Samsung she got for her 16th birthday. She explains how the design was created after months of research with teenagers just like them. It's shaped like a cosmetic compact, and even gives her fashion tips based on the weather. Just as they're admiring it, a bus rolls by outside, wrapped in a massive ad for a new series from HBO. What you just witnessed wasn't simply a random slice of everyday life. It was actually a carefully orchestrated symphony of marketing, playing out in perfect harmony all around them. Every single element in that scene, from the Starbucks logo to the Google search results, from the design of that cell phone to the ad wrapped around that bus, was the result of thousands of deliberate decisions. None of it happened by accident. Welcome to the world of marketing. It's everywhere, woven into the very fabric of our daily lives, from the clothes hanging in our closets to the websites we scroll through late at night. And for decades, two names have stood as the undisputed titans in this field: Philip Kotler and Kevin Lane Keller. Their book, Marketing Management, isn't just another textbook gathering dust on a shelf. It's considered the Bible for anyone who wants to understand how ideas are born, how they capture our imagination, and how they eventually become part of our culture. First published way back in 1967, this book has guided generations of business leaders, and the 12th edition, which we're exploring today, has sold millions of copies worldwide, cementing its place as the ultimate authority on the subject. Philip Kotler isn't just an author, he's practically a living legend. He's the S.C. Johnson & Son, Distinguished Professor of International Marketing at the Kellogg School of Management, and he's consulted for giants like IBM, General Electric, and Bank of America. His co-author, Kevin Lane Keller, is the E.B. Osborne Professor of Marketing at Dartmouth's Tuck School of Business and is recognized as one of the world's leading experts on branding. These aren't just academics sitting in ivory towers, they're masters of the craft whose work has shaped how the world's biggest companies think about connecting with you. So what's the secret they've unlocked? What exactly is this powerful force we call marketing? In this episode, we're going to pull back the curtain and peek behind the scenes. We're not just going to talk about dry theories. We're diving into the stories, the strategies, and the timeless principles that have turned companies like Coca-Cola, Nike, and Apple into household names. By the end of our time together, I promise you'll never look at a product on a shelf, a catchy jingle, or even your own buying habits the same way again. You'll understand both the art and science of how to get, keep, and grow customers by creating, delivering, and communicating superior value. This isn't just about business, it's about understanding people. So get comfortable and settle in. Let's begin. Think back to the last time you bought something you absolutely loved. Maybe it was a fresh pair of sneakers, a video game you've been waiting months for, or even just a perfectly made cup of coffee. Whatever it was, did you ever pause to consider the incredible journey that product took to reach you? The thousands of decisions, both big and small, that led to that exact moment of satisfaction? Most people think of marketing as simply selling stuff or running clever advertisements. They see the flashy commercials and catchy slogans and assume that's all there is to it. But here's the truth. As the great management thinker Peter Drucker once said, the aim of marketing is to make selling superfluous. Let that sink in for a moment. The real goal isn't to convince you to buy something you don't want. It's to know and understand you so incredibly well that the product or service fits you perfectly and basically sells itself. When Sony designed the PlayStation, or when Toyota introduced the Lexus, they were absolutely flooded with orders because they'd done their homework. They had created the right product for the right people. This is the core idea, the beating heart, of what Philip Kotler and Kevin Lane Keller teach in marketing management. It represents a fundamental shift in thinking from a make and sell philosophy to a sense and respond philosophy. It's not about hunting down the right customers for your product. It's about discovering and creating the right products for your customers. So how exactly do you pull that off? It all starts with a deceptively simple question: what is our business? It sounds easy enough, but it's actually one of the hardest questions any company can answer. A railroad company might naturally think it's in the railroad business, but a true marketer would say, no, we're in the transportation business. A movie studio might assume it's in the film business, when really they're in the entertainment business. Do you see the subtle but powerful difference? One perspective is focused narrowly on the product itself, while the other zooms out to focus on the underlying need. Products come and go, but basic human needs endure forever. This fundamental understanding of needs, wants, and demands forms the bedrock of all marketing. A need is a basic human requirement. You need food, water, and shelter to survive. A want is when that need gets directed toward a specific object that might satisfy it. You need food, but you want a cheeseburger. A demand is a want for a specific product backed by the ability and willingness to pay for it. Here's the kicker. Marketers don't actually create needs. Needs already exist. What marketers do is influence wants and shape demands. But here's where things get really interesting. There are actually 5 different types of needs to consider. If a customer says he wants an inexpensive car, that's his stated need, but his real need might be a car with low operating costs. His unstated need might be receiving excellent service from the dealer. His delight need could be getting an onboard navigation system as a surprise bonus. And his secret need? He wants his friends to see him as a smart, savvy consumer. A truly good marketer understands and addresses all 5 layers. Once you've wrapped your head around the customer's needs, you have to figure out how to deliver genuine value. And value, in its simplest form, is the difference between all the benefits a customer receives from a product and all the costs they incur in acquiring and using it. Picture it as a scale. On one side, you've got the product benefits, the service benefits, the personnel benefits, how you're treated, and the image benefits, how the brand makes you feel. On the other side, you've got the monetary cost, the time cost, the energy cost, and even the psychological cost. Customers will almost always choose the offering they believe delivers the most value. Let's look at a real-world example to make this concrete. Caterpillar, the heavy equipment manufacturer, might price a tractor at $100,000, while a competitor offers a similar-looking machine for $90,000. Why on earth would anyone pay the extra 10 grand? Because the Caterpillar salesperson can break down the value equation for you. They can demonstrate that the Caterpillar tractor offers superior durability worth about $7,000, superior reliability worth $6,000, superior service worth $5,000, and a longer warranty worth $2,000. So the total perceived value actually comes to $110,000. Even at the higher price, the customer is getting $10,000 more in value than what they're paying. That's how you win, by delivering more value than the competition. This concept of delivering superior value is what separates merely good companies from truly great ones. And it's a process, a deliberate sequence of choices. The first phase is choosing the value. This is where you do your homework. It's where you segment the market, select your specific target, and develop your positioning. The formula is simple to remember. STP: segmentation, targeting, and positioning. It's the very essence of strategic marketing. Let's unpack that a bit. You can't possibly be all things to all people. So the smart move is to divide the market into segments, groups of customers with similar needs and wants. You can segment geographically, demographically by age, gender, or income, psychographically by lifestyle or personality, or behaviorally, based on what they actually do. You're looking for patterns. Do all your potential customers have basically the same preferences? That's homogeneous preferences. Are they scattered all over the place with wildly different tastes? That's diffused preferences. Or are there distinct clusters of similar customers? That's clustered preferences. Once you've identified these segments, you face a crucial decision. Which ones should you actually target? Which segments represent the greatest opportunity for your company? You could go for single-segment concentration, like Porsche does with the high-end sports car market. You could choose selective specialization, focusing on several different segments that each look attractive. You could opt for product specialization, where you make one particular product for multiple different segments, like a microscope manufacturer might do. You could choose market specialization, serving many different needs of one particular customer group, like selling a complete range of products exclusively to university laboratories. Or, if you're a giant like Coca-Cola or IBM, you might go for full market coverage and try to serve everyone. The final step in this first phase is positioning, and this is where things get really fascinating. Positioning isn't what you do to a product, it's what you do to the mind of the prospect. It's the deliberate act of designing your company's offering and image to occupy a distinctive and valued place in the minds of your target customers. Volvo has brilliantly positioned itself as the safest car you can buy. For years, Avis positioned itself as the number 2 car rental company with the memorable slogan, "We try harder." This is your brand's big idea, its very essence distilled down. To create truly powerful positioning, you need to define your competitive frame of reference, basically, who you're competing against in the customer's mind. Then you need to identify your points of difference and your points of parity. Points of difference are the attributes or benefits that consumers strongly associate with your brand, evaluate positively, and believe they couldn't find to the same extent with a competitor. Think FedEx and, quote, guaranteed overnight delivery. Think Nike and athletic performance. Think Lexus and uncompromising quality. Points of parity, on the other hand, are associations that aren't necessarily unique to your brand, but are absolutely essential to be considered a credible player in the category. A bank has to offer checking and savings accounts. A travel agency needs to be able to book flights and hotels. These are the greens fees just to play the marketing game. The real magic happens when you can achieve a point of parity on a competitor's point of difference, and then establish a completely new point of difference of your own. When Miller Lite launched, they pulled off exactly this move. They established parity with regular beers by confidently claiming it, quote, tastes great, and then created a powerful point of difference by positioning it as less filling because it had a third fewer calories. It was absolutely brilliant marketing. Once you've chosen the value, the second phase is providing the value. This is where you determine the specific product features, set the right price, and figure out the distribution channels. This is the tactical, roll-up-your-sleeves side of marketing. And at the heart of it all sits the product itself. But here's something most people don't realize. A product isn't just a physical thing you can touch. There are actually 5 distinct levels to any product. The core benefit is the fundamental service or solution the customer is really buying. You don't buy a drill because you want a drill. You buy it because you need a hole in your wall. You don't stay in a hotel because you love hotels. You need rest and sleep. The basic product turns that core benefit into something tangible. The hotel room has a bed, a bathroom, and towels. The expected product is the set of attributes buyers normally expect and take for granted: a clean bed, fresh towels, working lamps, and electrical outlets. The augmented product is where you exceed customer expectations. And this is where brand positioning and serious competition really happen in developed countries. And finally, the potential product represents everything the product could possibly become in the future. This is where innovative companies search for new ways to satisfy customers and distinguish their offerings from the competition. How a company builds and manages its entire product mix and individual product lines becomes a crucial part of its overall strategy. The product mix has a certain width. That's how many different product lines you offer. It has length, the total number of items across all your lines. It has depth, how many variants you offer of each specific product. And it has consistency, how closely related your various product lines are to each other in terms of use, production, or distribution. A company can strategically lengthen its product line by stretching down market to capture more price-sensitive customers, stretching up market to capture premium buyers, or going both directions. They can also fill the line by adding more items within the existing price range. The third and final phase of the value delivery process is communicating the value. This is where you deploy your sales force, launch advertising campaigns, run promotions, and use various other communication tools to announce and promote your product to the world. This is essentially the voice of your brand speaking to customers. And in today's hyper-connected world, that voice absolutely must be integrated and consistent across every single touchpoint a customer has with your company. Integrated Marketing Communications, or IMC, is built on the idea that you carefully evaluate the strategic roles of various communication disciplines: advertising, direct response, sales promotion, public relations, and then skillfully combine them to provide clarity, consistency, and maximum impact. Consider the 6 major modes of communication available to you: advertising, sales promotion, events and experiences, public relations and publicity, direct marketing, and personal selling. Each one has its own unique characteristics and cost structure. Advertising can build a long-term image in consumers' minds. Sales promotion can create an immediate, short-term incentive to buy right now. Events can be highly relevant, engaging, and memorable. Public relations can build credibility and trust in ways advertising simply can't. Direct marketing can be customized and made interactive for individual customers. And personal selling allows you to cultivate deep, personal relationships with key clients. The truly holistic marketer doesn't just rely on one of these tools. They carefully orchestrate all of them to work together in harmony. This entire interconnected process, choosing the right value, providing that value, and effectively communicating it, is ultimately what builds strong, enduring brands. And a brand is so much more than just a name or a logo slapped on a package. It's a promise. It's a rich set of expectations, memories, stories, and relationships that, taken together, account for a consumer's decision to choose one product or service over another. The true value of a brand is captured in the concept of brand equity, which is essentially the added value endowed to products and services. It's reflected in how customers think about, feel about, and act toward the brand. So how exactly do you go about building powerful brand equity? First, you carefully choose your brand elements: the name, the logo, the slogan, the jingle, the packaging design. These elements should ideally be memorable, meaningful, likable, transferable across different contexts, adaptable over time, and legally protectable. Think of Nike's elegant swoosh logo, the empowering Just Do It slogan, and even the name itself, inspired by the winged Greek goddess of victory. Second, you design your marketing activities and programs specifically to create the right brand associations in customers' minds. Customers come to know a brand through a wide range of contacts and touchpoints: personal observation and use, word of mouth from friends, interactions with company employees, online and social media experiences, advertising exposure, and more. Every single one of these interactions must reinforce and strengthen the brand promise you're making. And third, you can strategically leverage secondary associations by linking your brand to other entities that already have meaning to consumers: a person like a celebrity endorser, a place like a country of origin, a cause, or a sponsored event. These associations can transfer positive feelings and meanings to your brand. This naturally brings us to the product life cycle, a concept every marketer needs to understand. Just like a living organism, every product has a life cycle. It moves through 4 distinct stages: introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. In the introduction stage, sales growth is frustratingly slow, and profits are basically non-existent because of the heavy expenses involved in launching the product and building awareness. Your primary goal here is simply to create awareness and encourage trial among early adopters. In the growth stage, there's a thrilling period of rapid market acceptance and substantial profit improvement as word spreads and distribution expands. Now your goal shifts to maximizing market share and establishing your position before competitors pile in. The maturity stage brings a slowdown in sales growth because the product has already achieved acceptance by most potential buyers who are going to buy it. Here, your focus is on maximizing profit while vigorously defending your hard-won market share against competitors. And finally, in the decline stage, sales show a downward drift, and profits gradually erode as the product becomes obsolete or customer preferences shift. Now you face tough strategic decisions about whether to harvest the brand for maximum short-term cash flow or divest it entirely and move resources elsewhere. Each stage demands a distinctly different marketing strategy and approach. In the mature stage, where the vast majority of products actually spend most of their lives, you've got several strategic options. You can try to modify the market itself by finding new users or convincing existing users to increase their usage occasions. You can modify the product by improving its quality, adding new features, or updating its style to make it feel fresh again. Or you can modify the marketing mix by adjusting your pricing strategy, expanding distribution channels, or refreshing your advertising message and creative approach. All of these strategies must be executed within the context of an intensely competitive landscape. You absolutely must know who your real competitors are, what strategies they're pursuing, what their objectives and goals might be, and what their key strengths and critical weaknesses are. In any given market, you can typically find 4 types of firms: market leaders, market challengers, market followers, and market nichers. A market leader, like Coca-Cola or Microsoft, commands the largest market share and typically leads the industry in price changes, new product introductions, distribution coverage, and promotional intensity. To stay on top, the leader must continuously work to expand the total market by finding new users, new uses, or more frequent usage. They must also protect their current market share by playing solid defense, and ideally, they should even try to expand their market share further when opportunities arise. A market challenger, on the other hand, is a runner-up firm that aggressively attacks the leader and other competitors in a bold bid to gain more market share. They might launch a frontal attack by directly matching the leader's product, advertising, and price. They might use a flank attack by going after the leader's weak spots or underserved markets. They could try an encirclement attack by launching a comprehensive campaign on multiple fronts. They might attempt a bypass attack by diversifying into unrelated products or markets. Or they could engage in guerrilla warfare with small, periodic attacks to demoralize and eventually wear down the opponent. A market follower is a runner-up company that's essentially willing to maintain its current market share and not aggressively rock the boat. They can be a cloner, shamelessly copying the leader's product and packaging. They can be an imitator, copying some aspects but maintaining some differentiation. Or they can be an adapter, taking the leader's products and adapting or improving them, often for different markets. And finally, a market nicher serves small, specialized market segments that aren't being pursued by larger firms. The absolute key to successful niching is specialization, becoming the expert and go-to provider for a very specific need or customer type. But here's perhaps the most important insight to remember from all of this. A company that's purely competitor-centered ends up being overly reactive. They're constantly looking over their shoulder, and their strategic moves are almost entirely determined by their competitors' moves. It's exhausting and rarely leads to true innovation. A customer-centered company, on the other hand, is in a vastly better position to identify genuinely new opportunities and set a strategic course that promises long-run profitability. They focus relentlessly on delivering superior value to their carefully chosen target customers, and that customer focus becomes their true North Star. So let's circle back to that pair of sneakers, that video game, or that perfect cup of coffee we started with. The next time you buy something you genuinely love, take a moment to pause and think. Consider the remarkable journey that product took to reach your hands. Think about the needs it's satisfying, both the obvious ones and the hidden ones. Think about the value it's delivering to your life. Think about the story it's telling you about yourself. Because now you know the truth. You understand the intricate art and sophisticated science behind it all. And that knowledge, that awareness, is genuinely powerful. As we've journeyed together through the world of marketing management, it's completely natural to feel slightly overwhelmed. We've covered strategies, frameworks, and dozens of different ways to think about connecting with customers. But if there's one single idea, one profound truth to take away from everything we've discussed, it's this. Marketing, at its absolute best, is fundamentally an act of empathy. It's about genuinely seeing the world through the eyes of another person, truly understanding their needs, their hopes, their frustrations, and then thoughtfully using your creativity and resources to make their life just a little bit better. In today's world, we're absolutely bombarded with messages from every direction. We're constantly told what to buy, what to wear, how to look, what to think. And honestly, it's easy to become cynical and see marketing as just another subtle form of manipulation designed to separate us from our money. But what Kotler and Keller reveal to us is that true marketing, the kind that builds beloved brands lasting for generations, is actually the exact opposite. It's not about tricking people into buying things they don't need or want. It's about creating things they genuinely desire, things that solve real problems in their lives, things that bring a meaningful measure of joy, convenience, or beauty into their daily existence. Think again about that crucial shift from a make and sell philosophy to a sense and respond philosophy. It represents a fundamental move from arrogance to humility in how businesses approach their customers. It's the profound difference between a company that arrogantly declares, "Here's what we made, now go buy it," versus a company that humbly asks, "What do you actually need? How can we genuinely help you?" That seemingly simple question is actually the starting point of every great, enduring business. One of the most powerful and transformative lessons from this book is the concept of viewing the customer as a profit center. That phrase might initially sound a bit cold and calculating, even mercenary. But it's actually a deeply respectful and sustainable way of understanding the business relationship. It means that every single interaction with a customer represents an opportunity to create value, not just for the company's bottom line, but genuinely for the customer as well. It means understanding that any single transaction is just one small moment in what should be a long-term relationship, and that the real goal is to earn that customer's trust and loyalty over an entire lifetime. The concept of customer lifetime value fundamentally changes everything. It forces you to think beyond just making the next sale, and instead focus on building something meaningful that truly lasts. So how can you practically apply these powerful ideas to your own life, starting right now? Here are a few simple, actionable steps you can take today. First, become a more conscious and better observer of the world around you. The next time you're in a store browsing, sitting in a restaurant, or even just scrolling through websites online, really pay attention to what you're experiencing. Look closely at the packaging and how it's designed. Listen carefully to the way employees talk to and treat customers. Notice the physical layout of the store and how it makes you feel. Ask yourself probing questions. What story is this brand trying to tell me? Who exactly are they trying to reach with this message? What specific problem are they trying to solve for their customers? You'll be genuinely amazed at what you start noticing once you train yourself to look. Second, practice empathy in your daily interactions. Whether you're working on a school project with classmates, trying to convince your parents to let you do something, or simply having a regular conversation with a friend, consciously try to see the situation from their unique perspective. What are their underlying needs that might not be obvious? What are their real concerns and fears? How can you frame your idea in a way that authentically speaks to what they value most? This skill is the absolute heart of effective marketing, and it's a capability that will serve you incredibly well in literally every area of your life. Third, start conducting your own personal brand audit. Think about yourself as if you were a brand in the marketplace. What are your distinctive points of difference? What genuinely makes you unique and special? What are your points of parity? What skills and qualities do you share with others that make you credible? How do you want to be perceived and remembered by others in the world? Just like a smart company, you can be highly intentional about the image you project and the unique value you bring to other people's lives. In the end, marketing management isn't merely a book about business tactics and strategies. It's fundamentally a book about authentic human connection. It's a powerful reminder that in a world of seemingly endless choice and constant noise, the things that truly endure and matter most are the things built on a solid foundation of genuine understanding, mutual respect, and a sincere desire to serve others. And that's a lesson that is, as they say, absolutely priceless. That was our journey through Marketing Management by Philip Kotler and Kevin Lane Keller. We've covered the highlights today, but I'll be completely honest with you. A summary like this can only take you so far. The real magic and transformation happen when you actually sit down and read the book yourself. It's in those quiet moments when a particular story, or even just a simple phrase, hits you in an unexpected way and shifts something in your thinking. This summary is designed to help you decide whether this book deserves your valuable time and attention. If anything we've talked about today has genuinely resonated with you or sparked your curiosity, I encourage you to grab a copy for yourself, because reading it isn't just about learning dry concepts. It's an experience that can genuinely change the way you see yourself, your career path, and the entire world of business around you. You'll find a convenient link to the book in the description below. Also, if you found this summary valuable and worth your time, please take just a moment to click that like button and subscribe to the channel. That simple action ensures you won't miss our next journey into another potentially life-changing book from the billionaire's bookshelf. Your support genuinely helps us continue bringing these important ideas to you and to others who might benefit. Let's keep growing and learning together.